Once upon a time, high above the clouds in the sky, there was an amazing kingdom. It was made completely out of balloons and was so light that it floated in the air. It was also incredibly beautiful with towering balloon castles, rivers of rainbow liquid, floating balloon animals, and most importantly, it was home to the Cloud King's daughter, Princess Avia. Now, Princess Avia wasn't like most princesses. Oh, she didn't hate wearing her fancy dresses or having her nails painted, and she loved having tea parties with her friends. But what she really loved was adventure. She would spend hours looking at the world through her telescope and wondering what it was like down there. Now, every 100 years, the balloon kingdom would disappear, only to reappear again 100 years later somewhere else in the sky. No one knew why this happened, but everyone knew that when the king gave the command, they all had to let go of their balloon animal mounts and float down to the ground below, where they would wait until the next balloon appeared 100 years later. The last time this happened was about 140 years ago, and the king was getting very nervous about it happening again. He called an emergency meeting. "Everyone, listen up," he said. "In exactly 3 days, the magic will fade and we will have to leave our homes behind. I know no one wants to leave, so I have a plan. If someone can find the Sky Weaver, they can use a loom to weave more magic into the kingdom and we can stay here another 100 years. Avia wanted to help, but she couldn't just disappear for 3 days. She had to take care of her pet dragon, Spark, who would be very lonely without her. So instead, she went to the royal tailor and asked if he could make her a disguise. "What do you want to look like?" he asked. "I want to look like an explorer," she said, "and make sure I look really old and grumpy. Oh, and don't forget a big bushy beard." So the tailor made her an explorer outfit, complete with a fake mustache and beard. Then she snuck out of the castle and onto the street, where she met up with a group of cloud weavers. "Excuse me," she said, "have any of you seen the Sky Weaver? I need to speak with him urgently." "We're on our way to see him right now," said one of the cloud weavers. "Want to come with us?" Avia nodded, and as they walked, she noticed something strange. Their balloon houses were starting to shrink. Is everything okay?" she asked. "No, it's not okay," said the cloud weaver. "The longer we stay in the kingdom, the weaker the magic becomes. And because the princess has been gone for so long, the magic is fading fast." They finally reached the Sky Weaver's house, which looked like an abandoned hot air balloon. Inside sat an old man weaving on a loom. "Sky Weaver," said Avia, "I need your help." The Sky Weaver stopped weaving and turned around. "Who are you, and why do you need my help?" "Please, Sky Weaver," Avia said, taking off her disguise. "I am the princess. I need you to use your loom to weave more magic into the kingdom." The Sky Weaver sighed. "I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this today, but I guess there's no other choice. The magic in the kingdom is too weak to send me a message, so I had no idea you were coming. Look, I'll help you, but you'll have to get the materials yourself. The colors of the clouds around the kingdom have been fading. You need to collect some of each color to use as dye for the loom." "Okay," said Avia, grabbing her basket. "Where should I start?" "Go to the West Mountain," said the Sky Weaver. "You should find some blue there. Avia thanked the Sky Weaver and ran outside. As she flew toward the West Mountain, she saw the whole kingdom was indeed losing its color. Many of the buildings were already gray and the balloon animals were losing their bright colors, too. When she got to the West Mountain, she used her telescope to look around, and sure enough, she saw some beautiful blue clouds over the horizon. She flew toward them and started collecting samples, but suddenly, the clouds started swirling and a huge tornado began to form. Avia quickly hid behind a rock and watched as the tornado sucked up all of the blue clouds. Then something even weirder happened. The tornado split into 2, then 4, then 8, and suddenly there were 8 smaller tornadoes, each with their own color. They all raced toward the horizon. Avia knew she had to stop them before they disappeared, so she jumped onto her cloud mount and flew after them. One by one, she managed to catch up to each tornado and stuff them into her basket. Finally, she looked back at the kingdom and headed home. When she arrived, the Sky Weaver had finished his preparations. He led her to the loom and together they started to weave. The colors of the clouds swirled around them as the new magic filled the kingdom. Suddenly, the king came running over. "Stop, Princess Avia!" he cried. "You shouldn't have done that. It's almost time." "What do you mean?" she asked. "Look," said the king, pointing to the sky. Avia looked up and gasped. Outside, the sky was turning black and a huge storm was forming. The king explained that when the magic faded, the kingdom would turn to stone and fall from the sky. The only way to prevent this was to release the Cloud Eaters. "Cloud Eaters?" Avia asked. "Yes," said the king. "Long ago, the kingdom was saved by 8 powerful dragons, one for each color of the clouds. They became known as the Cloud Eaters because they ate away the dark magic holding the kingdom together. It was a great sacrifice because it meant they had to leave the kingdom and live out the rest of their lives alone in the human world." "Wait," Avia said. "Does that mean that my dragon, Spark, is a Cloud Eater?" "It does," said the king. "Each Cloud Eater chose a young member of the kingdom to be their guide. I believe Spark chose you." Avia felt a lump in her throat. She had been so selfish, thinking only of herself and her pet dragon. She had no idea Spark was making the ultimate sacrifice. "Is there anything I can do?" she asked. "Yes," said the king. "You must set them free. The Cloud Eaters are sealed inside these 8 balloons. Take them to the mountain peaks and let them go." Avia nodded and took the balloons to her hot air balloon. As the storm outside grew more intense, she began to float away. First, she flew to the Yellow Mountain, then the Green Mountain, followed by the Red Mountain, the Orange Mountain, the Indigo Mountain, the Violet Mountain, and finally the final 2 mountains, the Turquoise and the Rose. One by one, she released the Cloud Eaters, and just as the last Cloud Eater disappeared into the distance, the magic of the loom was complete. The storm outside suddenly vanished and a beautiful rainbow filled the sky. Avia looked down and saw that her kingdom was safe once more. As the king gave orders to rebuild the kingdom, Avia flew around looking for Spark. Finally, she spotted him on a nearby cloud. She flew over and asked, "Can I come with you?" Spark nodded and together they soared into the sunset to begin their new life in the human world. And that is the story of how the Cloud Kingdom is saved once more. The end.